Why do so many people go to Slipknot shows? What draws people to come back again and again? Why did my ex-girlfriend leave me? Two of those three questions will be answered here in this video. I'm Luke, and this is Stage 76. Slipknot has been going hard for over 25 years now. Their audience has continued to grow, and that growth doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. We're drawn in by the chugging riffs and the creepy costumes and stay because it's actually really good. But what exactly makes it that good? You can kind of break down what makes any show good by three basic aspects: the music, the setting, and the people. I'll start off by talking about the music itself. Most of the time, what's going to draw a person into a concert is their familiarity and their prior experience with the music itself. Not many people out there are seeking out shows from artists they don't know. Slipknot has a decent-sized catalog of music that is beloved by many, including a lot of people who aren't really into a lot of heavy music. It has a very wide appeal, and that's part of what will draw a bunch of people into these shows. Once people are actually inside to see it, that's where the true experience starts. The band is known to keep a balance of tried and true staple songs with a rotating bunch of others. There are the songs that basically everyone is going to know, like Duality and Psychosocial. You're basically guaranteed to see these songs played, as well as a big closer like Surfacing. These are all relatively high energy songs, and the same goes with the majority of the songs they play live, besides Snuff and to a lesser extent songs like Dead Memories and Kill Pop. For the most part, this is music that induces mosh and circle pits alike. It's high energy fun music, and it sounds incredible when you hear it live. Talking about mosh pits brings me to the next aspect of the show, the setting, which is everything at the show that isn't the music or the people playing it. That rowdy group of people pushing themselves and others around is certainly part of that setting. Expect plenty of people in the pit to be going hard through essentially the whole set. There will surely be plenty of people crowd surfing as well. Hell, Corey may even call out to the crowd to do so. But make sure you are aware at all times so you don't get smashed from the sides or above. Us short people don't want to have people dropped on us. Editor Luke here. Yeah, seriously, be careful when you go to shows. Just a few hours after I filmed this entire video, I went to see Spite and I got knocked on my ass by somebody who kicked me in the back. And this person was about 3 times my size, but you know, I understand it's a hardcore show, which is a little bit more intense than something like Slipknot, but seriously, watch out. The setting of a Slipknot show goes far beyond the crowd though. The venue itself is a key part of the setting. Slipknot is a really big band, so you'll primarily see them playing arenas, amphitheaters, and stadiums in the case of a festival. These are very large venues which will have very large attendance, and this affects the overall feel of a show. It's such an insane feeling being around thousands of people all chanting the opening words of Wait and Bleed. The large venues also allow the band to bring on huge intricate stage sets. In the .5 era, you had the giant goat head with the mirror. Now they have this giant industrial warehouse type look going on. There's a lot of big cool stuff to look at. The way they have Clown and the New Guy's drum set suspended up high, as well as setups for all the other static instruments. There is just something about the verticality that bands like Slipknot can do that makes things a little more interesting. A band playing on a small stage doesn't really have the room to do a lot of the things Slipknot does. Naturally, Slipknot surely has a much larger budget for their stage sets, cool lighting, and pyro, and while it isn't critical, it's all for the purpose of making this audio-visual experience just that tiny bit more impactful. Another big visual part of the band is their costumes. Disclaimer: I am by no means saying that a band needs costumes to put on a good show. It is simply one tool a band can use to set themselves apart from others. To put it simply, they just look really interesting. All of their masks are so unique, the who's behind the mask allure of the band is certainly more or less gone at this point, but the masks and the clothes they're all wearing really contribute to the overall experience of the show. It's a super basic eye candy thing, but it just works. Slipknot has never done an unmasked show, and I hope that they never do, because it just wouldn't be the same. But what good are all these cool stage sets and costumes without the people behind the masks playing the music? We have to talk about the band themselves. The guys in Slipknot are just as high energy as their music sounds. It's wild that most of these guys are over 40 or even 50 years old and still going as hard as they are. You can see it and you can feel it. You can be looking practically anywhere on the stage and something different is happening. Corey is belting it out, calling the shots. He's the only one using their voice in a non-musical way during the entire show. So you need that Corey Taylor charisma and charm. This guy knows how to make a crowd his and keep the people entertained. This is what sets a front person apart from just a vocalist. From an audience standpoint, a frontman like Corey Taylor is running that entire show. Naturally, Corey is not alone up there. 8 other dudes are up there entertaining everyone as well. You've got Jay tearing it up and setting the pace on the drums. Jim is blasting us away with his leads. Mick and V-Man are these hulking masses, which makes them all the more engaging and a little bit frightening, but in a good way. You take one look at Mick and you're like, yeah, that dude could kick my ass. And sometimes V-Man shoots fire out of his bass. Flamethrowers are always a welcome addition. Sid is either behind the turntable scratching away or running around the stage screwing with everyone. Or sometimes he's just walking on a treadmill. Or maybe he's jumping off of something. He's a bit of a wild card. And there's Craig. He's just vibing. That's all we need. What I would argue are the signature musicians in a Slipknot show are the 2 additional percussionists. The new guy and Clown. These guys have the most dynamic stage presence of any of the other members of the band. They're banging on their drums, banging on their kegs. Sometimes they're using a bat. Sometimes the bat is on fire. Other times they're running around the stage from one station to another while also doing some backing vocals. The additional percussion, though, is what makes Slipknot sound so big. The tribal type drum beats.
I see them out there with their glow sticks and their tribal drum beats.
That these guys are slamming out give the music and the show just that much more heft. That is a big part of that Slipknot sound. Even though those 9 guys are all sort of doing their own thing, it all ends up being one piece of controlled chaos that's going to knock you on your ass. Figuratively and literally if you aren't watching out. That is what makes a Slipknot show so good. The big, booming music, the elaborate stage setups, and the crazy dudes behind the masks. Thanks for checking out my little analysis on what makes a Slipknot show good. This is my first video like this, so maybe I'll make more. I'm Luke, this is Stage 76.